Yesterday, I preached a sermon about worship and doubt. That was the title of it. I'm talking about it here because worship is the thing that is so exciting to me. Now, I grew up Pentecostal, and I learned early how to worship in a very praising kind of way. But as I said in my sermon yesterday, there's a few different ways to worship. One is praise, which is, this exuberant, jubilant expression, which I love. There is also a much more quietistic kind of expression, more meditative, more contemplative, which I also love. There is service to others, which thrills my heart. And there is financial giving. I know lots of churches and lots of people don't talk about giving as part of worship, but I see that as important as the jubilant, hand-clapping praise that I love so very, very much. So anyway, I talked about those 4 different expressions of worship as part of our prayer life, etc., etc. But here's the thing I really want to share with you that I said in the sermon yesterday. The dictionary defines worship in 3 ways. One is to give honor to someone or something. 2 was the feeling of adoration for someone or something. And then 3 was to attend a service, a ritual, a ceremony where the honor is being given to a deity, to something divine. Well, I think those are only starting places for worship. Because as I said in the sermon, those things don't necessarily change us. Giving honor, having a feeling of adoration, and even showing up in a worship service, those things, while they're wonderful, they're important, they don't necessarily change us. I really started thinking about that because since I was a young kid, I was wondering, how is it that people can come to worship service all of the time, it seems, and not be transformed and not be changed in their lives? And I've wondered that through the years. And here's something that I think helps me understand it a little better, and hopefully it will help you. And that is, in addition to those 3 definitions of worship that the dictionary talks about, I think what worship really is about is understanding and connecting with, understanding that we are one with the divine, that we are one with God. As one young boy said, that God is the universe and each one of us are cells in the body of that universe. And so when I talk about worship, for me it is being in that place of connecting or remembering my oneness with the Creator, that the very breath in me is the breath of God. When I pause and remember that and connect with that reality, that's what transforms my life. So that anything I deal with in my life, I know that it is not something separate from God. I don't have to say, God, please be with me. I don't have to beg and plead for that. For I know that God is as close as my breath. And so worship for me, whether it is in prayer or in praise or in my giving or in my community service or whatever form it may take, that I do so with an understanding. Maybe it's a baby understanding or maybe it's a full understanding of my oneness with God. I celebrate that. It is the juice of my life. I love to worship. Now, the second part of my sermon was about doubt. And what I said was that I believe that just as we have in the Bible stories of people who worship Jesus and then they doubted. I believe that if our worship is only confined to the 3 definitions of worship in the dictionary, to pay honor to something we understand is sacred, to have a feeling of adoration, or to attend a worship service, if that's where our worship stops, then of course we're going to have doubt. Life brings with it so many uncertainties, and if our worship keeps us still in a place and in a kind of thinking that we're separate from the God of the universe, separate from God, our provider, our redeemer, our sustainer, our friend, then when life happens, we're going to have a lot of doubt. So, sisters and brothers, whatever you're going through, I urge you, the way to get through it with strength and with love and with courage and with compassion and with peace and with joy, the way to do it is to worship. Not just with those 3 definitions that are in the dictionary, but to remember every time you breathe, it is the breath of God in you. Every time you lift your hands up, it is the blood of God pulsating through you. And anything that you do, to know that God is with you and within you. And that's something to worship about. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Bye.